Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Prabowo Gito. So here I would like to deliver my answer to fulfill my assignment from Miss Puput. So there are 6 questions that I have to retell to you. The first questions: explain and give other example of language choice in multilingual communities. So in multilingual communities, more than one language is used by people. It means that people living in the situations may speak more than one language. When we interact with others, they can choose a code or a variety which is appropriate with participants, topic, and locations. And for example, just like we talking to whom's in the office, and then we consider that to use casual language with employees, but if it is with boss, we use a very formal language with him or with her, so let alone informal meetings. So here, people living in that situations can speak more than one language. It depends on with participants, topics, and locations. And then a second question, re-explained by my word example 1 about Kalala. So I think Lalala lives in Bukavu, which is multilingual city, and Kalala speaks C in informal and informal place, which formal place is wedding and funeral, and informal place is home and marketplace. And also Kalala speak Swahili, which is for communicate with people from different tribal, and Swahili, and also Swahili is a lingua franca, and therefore Kalala has 3 varieties of Swahili. The first one is standard Zairian. She used at school, one of the national language and official transactions. And the second one is Kimwana. Kimwana, it is his own distinct linguistic feature. He uses this language to children and adults he meet in the street and marketplace. And the third one is Indaubil. Indaubil is a special variety or code, and it is used by young people in Bukavu regardless of their tribal backgrounds. So that the factor that lead Kalala to choose one code rather than another code. The first one is kind of social factors to lead Kalala to choose one code rather than another. And kind of social factors consist of social distinct, status, formality, and functional, and then characteristic of the user or participants, and then Kalala's own linguistic repertoire and repertoire of the person he is talking to. And next questions: domain, language use, and code choice. Explain briefly and one example of each terms. Number 3, domains of language use. The first one is domain involve. There are 3 typical interactions, typical participants, and typical setting. For example, for example, typical family interactions. So, for the typical topic is family activities, and then for the typical setting at homes, of course, and typical participant is family member. So that there are 3 aspects that social factors that are very important. And then the second one is code choice. Code choice is a language that we usually use based on mostly is a setting, but topic and participant is influenced as well. So for instance, for me, both for domains and varieties or code appropriate to each. Here we go. So for domains and the variety code. For domain and the variety code. The first one is home or family. We address family. And the variety, Pali language. And then at most, religions, varieties is Palembang. And at school or educations, so in English and friendship, we address through Fran, Palembang variety, And if work or employment is Indonesia or varieties. And number four, social factors affecting code choice. What does it mean and what are they? Social factors affecting code choice. People may select a particular variety or code because it makes it easier to discuss a particular topics. Particular topic may regularly be discussed in one code rather than another, regardless of their setting or addressee. When participants share more than one variety, then other factors will contribute to the appropriate choice. Social role may also be important and is often factor contributing to status differences between people. And another relevant factor is the functions or goal of the interactions. And for what are they, we can conclude that social distinct, status, formality, and functions. The questions number 5. Diglosia and polixia. What do term means? An example. For the diglosia, according to Asinda, diglosia is the use of local language is also called the use of the first language, while the use of Indonesian is also known as the second language used. So this diglosia is kind of situations where two variations of language happen in the same times. It's not a dialect, but if a language is a dialect, that language will not be called diglosia. So, for example, variations of the diglosia. There are two variations of the diglosia. The first one is high variety and a low variety. For high variety consists of formal and then low variety is informal. So for high variety is formal, official, and provisions for the language, and the low variety, which is informal for the language, is friendly, slang, and vulgar. So here is the example. For formal English, in official documents, books, news report, articles, business letter, official speeches, and informal language is used in everyday conversations and in personal letter. And the second question is polyglotsia. Basically, polyglotsia situations involve two contrasting varieties, high and low. About in generally, it refers to communities that regularly use more than two languages. Polyglotsia is a part of diglosia, but in polyglotsia, it involved more language used. So, for example, just like in the number two questions about Kalala, just like Kalala linguistic repertoire, which is Kalala use more than two languages to communicate this as regularly. Here in the example of polyglotsia. And number 6, code switching and code mixing. What do term means and factors an example? So the first one is for code switching. Code switching is nothing but switching from one language to another to create a special effect. For example, if I were teachers in elementary school, I can teach them English fully, especially. But in the middle of my teachings, students seem confused about about the lesson on English, since teachers teach English with full of English. So here, code switching works. Then I'm teachers for them will make a decision to switch my teaching into Indonesian and English. So they will probably make classroom more lively by using switch English into Indonesia. And then for the code mixings, the word code mixing is mixing of mostly words but also phrases, clauses, or even complete sentences of two languages or varieties. For example, of code mixings and insertions of the word. For example, okay, kalian ujian next week. Next week is the instruction from English to Indonesia, and then we can also instructions of idioms. Aku menunggu makanya jadi orang itu don't judge people by the book. Makanya jadi orang itu don't judge book by the cover. It is a instruction for code-switching by using idioms, and then we can insert with in the English as well. Aku menunggu transferan orang tua uang dari orang tua. Transfer is mixed from English as well. So what factors for them are what factors? The first one is participants. Participant is who are they speaking to. And then solidarity, what an intimate way with them, what an intimate way with other speakers. And the status for each speaker is different. Okay, I think that's all for me to deliver my answer to fulfill my statements. Thank you.